Hello, my dearest grade learners. Welcome to another video of homeroom guidance lesson. Today is our second quarter for lesson 5. So for those senior high school students who haven't met me yet, I would like to introduce myself. My name is grade teacher Kate, and I welcome you to our grade community. So for more updates, information, or other details or videos, you may follow us on our online platforms. We are present on both Facebook and YouTube at the Great Teachers Academy. So for today's discussion, we are going to talk about factors in sound decision making. So let me explain first the following objectives. Number 1, at the end of this module, you are expected to describe the factors in decision making. So what are these factors? Number 2, recognize the importance of sound decision making. So why do you think decision making is important? And then the last one is to develop strategies in making a sound decision. So when we go through our discussion later on, kailangan meron tayong ma-develop na strategies when we come up with a sound decision. Okay? Again, our topic for today is all about factors in sound decision making. But before we proceed to the proper discussion or the lesson proper, let's have this pre-assessment to test your prior knowledge. So I have here this illustration sa right side of the slide. Let me later counter. So we have this activity sheet number 1. So dun sa activity sheet, you can see the bulb. And then dun sa bulb na yon, may 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 circles around the bulb. And then under the bulb, merong 1 rectangle which represent your final decision. So I have here the instruction first. Let me read it. Try to recall a most significant decision you have made in your life and answer the activity sheet as best as you can by highlighting the factors that influence your decision. So when you get a piece of paper, you just have to copy the illustration. And then dun sa mga circles na nakikita nyo, you just have to write the list of things that influence your decision. So it can be someone or it can be something. So pwedeng bagay, pwedeng tao, yung tao pwedeng relative, parent, friend, or when it comes to things possible, your interests, your skills, or anything that influence your final decision. Okay? So I will give you much time to answer this activity sheet, or you may pause this video to have much time completing the activity. Okay, timer starts now. Alright, so after completing the activity, let's now answer the processing questions. Number 1, why did you consider that decision as your most significant? So, sa tingin mo, bakit yun yung most significant decision that you have ever made by far? And then number 2, what insights have you gained from the activity? So, what are your learnings? What are your insights? Ano yung na-realize mo or yung reflection mo after completing the activity? So again, you may pause this video to have more time processing the following questions. Timer starts now. Alright, so thank you grade 11 students for participating in our pre-assessment activities. Now let's proceed in our topic, which is all about the factors in sound decision making. Okay, so in life, you will encounter situations where you will make different choices, especially when facing through a tough problem or a challenge or a struggle. So in this module, you will examine the different factors in sound decision making towards a common good. So let's start with this life. So it is important that in decision making, you take necessary steps to make it sound. This will help you achieve what you have initially aimed for. You may have made decisions based on your own judgment in the past, and the result may not be what you have intended. This is true to many people who rely on their own judgment without feeling the need to reflect and seek opinion from others. Other people may have different perspectives for your situations, something that may be of help in your decision making. This is correct. The statement that are mentioned here are simply correct and true. Totoo naman na may mga decisions tayo from the past na hindi natin napag-isipang mabuti, hindi natin napagplanuhang mabuti, only because we are driven by our emotions, with our own judgment. Hindi tayo nag-consult, hindi tayo nag-reflect, hindi tayo nag-seek ng help or ng opinion from others. It is also true that people may have different perspective for your situation. Say for example, yung perspective ko sa situation na ito ay mahirap. Hirap na hirap ako kasi nag-struggle ako when deciding something for myself. But for others, for other people, chika na lang yung decision, chika na lang yung mag-decide or mag-plan or mag-go through or overcome yung challenge na yon or yung problem na yon. That's why it is really important to also ask for others' help or for others' opinion, because this may also influence your decision making or may also help our decision making. Sound decision is when a person takes the time to fully discover and learn the different choices and probable results of this decision. So when we say a sound decision, solid, ibig sabihin marami na tayong na-take na natin lahat or na-explore na natin lahat ng routes, lahat ng ibang options, meron tayong plan A, plan B, plan C, hanggang umabot tayo sa plan Z. Ibig sabihin, we only not make a single decision for a single problem. But when we say sound decision, we have several options. And these several options may have several results or outcomes as well. At least hindi lang isa yung choice natin, di ba? Kapag when we come up with our decision, meron tayong option 2. For example, merong tayong problem, and then this problem can be answered by several options. For example, sa option 1, nagkaroon ng emergency, kailangan nating baguhin. So pwede tayong mag-jump to the another option. That's what sound decision is. It involves gathering facts, discussing the information, and making a reflection for a better and deeper discussion. Again, you have to remember that when you are making a sound decision, you always gather the facts, what is already in front of you, focus of what is already in front of you, ano ba yung nakikita mo, ano ba yung tangible na pwede mong mag-gather. And then you just have to discuss the information, not with yourself, but of course with others na feeling mo naman ay makakatulong sa'yo. And making a reflection. So when we gather these facts and we discuss this information to others, we just have to pause and to reflect with that decision. Kasi if we reflect, syempre magkakaroon tayo ng second thoughts. Ano ba yung mangyayari if we push through with this decision, if we go through with this decision. Okay, so the following are some considerations in making a sound decision. So number 1, personal needs and wants. As simple as, ano bang kakainin ko for today? That's our personal needs. Ano bang susuotin ko for today? Papuntang office or papuntang school? Or as simple as, tatawagan ko ba yung friend ko today or magre-review na lang ako? So here, we often prioritize this as we are mostly concerned of the things that we have to satisfy during the situation. We always prioritize our personal needs and wants. That always affect our decision. Kasi tayo yung magbe-benefit eh. Tayo yung magkakaroon ng advantage. That's why we always prioritize our personal needs and wants. That's why it really and mostly or most likely affect our decision making because we are the one who is going to benefit. Number 2, family. Opinions of the members of the family are also considered as vital in decision making, especially of our parents before making a choice. This is because we know that our parents know better about life. This is very true because our parents already know. Kumbaga, meron tayong kasabihan na papunta ka ba lang, pabalik na ako. Ang ibig sabihin nun, alam ko na marami na nangyari sa buhay ko. Alam ko na pagdaanan ko na yan. Alam ko na yung gagawin ko kapag ganyan yung nangyari. That's why we always ask our mothers or fathers help or opinions na ano bang gagawin ko kapag bumagsak ako sa ganitong subject? Should I take a remedial or magre-repeat ba ako? Or should I consult first with my professor or with my teacher bago ako mag-repeat kasi baka pagbigyan naman ako. We always ask for our parents' opinion. I also have experienced that situation na nag-ask ako ng help with my mom, especially when I enter college or senior high school. Kasi, syempre, confused ako on my stage at that time. At that age, hindi ko alam kung saan ako papasok, kung saan school, hindi ko alam kung anong course yung kunin ko. I am not really, hindi ako yung tipo ng tao na parang alam ko na agad yung kukunin ko when I enter senior high school. So, most probably, your parents or your family will also help or will also help you or guide you to make a sound decision. However, take note of this, my great learners. However, the parents have the choice. The parents have the choice over life decision of a person. Ibig sabihin na to, we should not rely on our parents palagi. Hindi dapat tayo na, ito kasi gusto ni mami, ito na lang din gagawin ko. Hindi siya ganon. Andyan sila to guide us, pangaralan tayo, gabayan tayo along the way, but hindi sila yung final say. We always have to remember that. Hindi sila yung final say because we are the one responsible or accountable to whatever decision we may make. Okay? Next is school and community. We often ponder if our decisions are the same as to what we have learned from our experiences and interaction with society and what was taught to us through our formal education. We adapt to the standards set by society, and we also carefully see the impact of our decision to ourselves and to the community to which we belong. So again, we have to remember that every decision we make, hindi lang tayo yung maaapektuhan. There are also actions or decisions that may affect other people around us, especially our community. That's why it is very important to be mindful of our decisions, to understand yung magiging outcome or yung magiging results nito. Another thing or other consideration is religious affiliations. So our religious affiliation plays a significant role in our decision-making process, as we should always contemplate if our decisions obey the teachings and values instilled upon us by our faith. So this is very vital role. Kasi totoo to. Kasi ang sasagasaan na kasi nito is your values and your principles, your beliefs. Magde-decide ka na aligned with your values, your principles, and your beliefs. Hindi kasi may mga decisions na we approach this problems because this is what we always believe. This is what we believe from the start. Say for example, nakita mo si classmate na nag-cheat during exam, and this classmate of yours is also your friend. best friend mo siya, lagi mo siyang nakakausap about studies, and alam mo rin yung mga problems niya. So as your classmate and as your best friend, ano yung gagawin mo? Ikaw, you have this principle or belief na mali ang mangopya. Cheating is bad, cheating is wrong. So when you saw someone cheating, kay teacher na agad ang punta. So yun, parang nasagasaan na yung belief mo. That's why you will end up na dapat yung decision mo is also aligned with your belief or values. But for this one, for that case, ang question doon ay, will you obey the teachings and values that was already instilled upon you? Or meron ka pang ibang i-consider? Say for example, i-confront mo si best friend na, uy, nakita kita, ganito yung ginawa mo. Sa tingin ko, mali yun kasi ang paniniwala ko, mali ang kumopya. So, ganon. May mga ganong process or may mga ganong considerations na pwede mong gawin to end up making a sound decision. Next is media and technology. So, with the widespread of media forms, mass media, and social media, communication is made with much ease. Yes, this is true. As compared to those of the previous generations, this is very true. Media and technology made a huge influence on how we send and receive information, assess our situation, and make judgment and choices. Yes, it is very true that media made much ease. Sobrang convenient na, right? Like for example, meron kang gustong i-search or hanapin, you can just type it online. For example, I want to search about this product. Then makikita mo na siya online, di ba? Just compared to previous generation. Kasi kapag meron silang gustong hanapin, pupunta pa sila sa libraries, magtatanong pa sila sa mga ibang tao na ano sa tingin mo yung feedback about this product. But for example, meron tayong gustong product online. Meron lang diyong makikita mo lang sa comment section na maganda tong product na to, bilhin mo. Effective tong product na to, mura pa, bilhin mo. It will already influence your decision, di ba? Kasi that information is already seen online compared to previous generation na kailangan pa talaga nilang mag-deep dive or mag-search or gumawa ng research or surveys outside para lang mag-come up with a very sound decision. Again, we have to remember that media and technology made a huge influence on how we send and receive information. Diba? Doon pa lang sa pagbabasa ng feedback from other users or from other consumers, we already have made our decision na, uy, maganda, positive yung reviews, maganda yung reviews ng product na to, maybe kumuha na rin siguro ako, baka pwede na to, bilhin ko na rin. So with that, you already made a sound decision. Okay? Next slide. So since in decision making, the main focus is on the solution to a particular problem or concern, we also use different approaches in dealing with it, depending on the call of the situation. Whichever it is, we must ask ourselves the following. So, aside from those considerations that we have discussed in the previous slides, we have these questions that we have asked ourselves first before coming into a sound decision making. So number one question, what do your feelings tells you? Is it reasonable? So you just have to ask yourself, ano bang nararamdaman ko? Galit ba ako? Malungkot ba ako sa problem na to? Sa concern ko? Nagagalit ba ako? Kasi, say for example, yung example natin kanina, all about cheating. Nagagalit ba ako sa friend ko kasi ginawa niya yung cheating, alam naman niyang mali, pero ginawa niya. And then, after identifying your feelings, after recognizing your feelings, ask yourself, is it reasonable? Reasonable ba na magalit ako? Valid naman yung feelings ko, di ba? Kasi mali naman talaga yung ginawa niya. So, yung mga ganong questions. Next, what are the available facts? So, ano yung focus on the problem? Ano yung facts na nakita mo? So, for example, nakita ko kasi si friend, may note, yung maliit na note with him na habang nag-exam. Yung mga ganung facts. Which solutions are possible? Now, think of a solution na possible na pwede mong gawin. So, with that problem, anong solution yung naiisip mo? Ang possible na solution na naiisip ko is to tell my professor, to tell my teacher about my problem or about the cheating situation or the cheating, yung nangyaring cheating. Another question, what alternatives do you have aside from the possible solution na pwede mong gawin? Ano pa yung alternative na meron ka? Ito yung sinasabi ko na have several options. Kasi itong mga options na to, it will lead you to your final decision. So yung alternative na pwede mong gawin aside from telling your teacher is to confront your classmate or your best friend. Kasi you have to take note that yung possible solution mo kanina, it has a consequence. So kapag sinumbong mo siya kay teacher, anong mangyayari? What will happen? Possible na mawala yung friendship nyo. Possible na hindi na kayo maging friend after kasi magtatampo siya or ma-hurt siya. Diba? May mga ganong possible results or outcome na pwedeng mangyari with that solution. But on your second alternative, confronting your friend or your classmate about the cheating, meron din siyang consequence. Siguro, when you confront him, siguro possible na he will thank you na, uy, thank you. Hindi mo ako sinumbong agad. Kinonfront mo muna ako. Kasi, I appreciate that. Kasi, doon ko na-realize na mahalaga yung friendship natin. And with that, I promise, hindi ko na uulitin. Yung mga ganong alternative. Always have an alternative aside from the first possible solution na naisip mo. And then the last one, among those two or among those three, sabihin na natin marami kang alternatives or options, what is the best solution? Ask yourself, ano ba yung dapat kong gawin? Ano ba yung pipiliin ko? So to summarize everything, the following are the steps that we must consider. Number 1, gather information. Know the malalaman na sound decision yung ginagawa mo. So, again, I will give you time to answer these questions. Or you may just pause this video to have much time completing or answering the post-assessment questions. Timer starts now. All right. Okay, now is the time to reflect. So I have here question on our reflection slide. The question is, why is decision making important? So we have to be real here, my dearest great learners. In almost every situation, decision making is crucial. Yeah, correct? Correct. So that is very correct. That is very right. As a matter of fact, people make over, siguro sa isang araw, ilan ba yung nagagawa ng tao na desisyon? See, for example ako, kapag aalis ako, ang dami kong gustong suotin. Ang dami kong gusto ko, ganito yung susuotin ko. And then after trying my clothes, na-realize ko, ang pangit pala. Balik ulit ako sa closet ko, hanap ulit ako ng maganda. Siguro we are making over, for example, more than 20 decisions per day in our daily lives. But the importance of decision making isn't the outcome. Remember this, my dearest great learners. The importance of decision making isn't the outcome, hindi yung results, hindi yung outcome, hindi yung naging effect. But the importance of decision making is seen in the process. The correct process should be one of testing, seeing, learning, adapting, and repeating. Again, the importance of decision making isn't the outcome, but in the process. Because sa process, di ba, doon natin nalalaman or natututunan kung ano yung dapat nating gawin. Ina-assess natin yung mga alternatives, tinitignan natin yung different options, ina-adapt natin kung ano yung dapat gawin, and with that, once learned and once practiced, once developed, the steps in decision making or the process of decision making, we are already able to repeat it. Kasi natutunan tayo doon. Kasi alam na natin kung ano yung gagawin natin once na mangyari ulit sa atin doon. There is a repetition. Okay? I think that's all for today, my dearest great learners. So, there you go. Now we are done with our lesson. Thank you, my great learners, for listening. I hope to see you again in my next video classes. Once again, I am Great Teacher Kate. If you love what we have discussed today, please leave a comment, for I will be happy to read it. Promise that I will be more inspired sharing lessons in our great community. Again, for more updates, follow us on our online platforms at the Great Teachers Academy and make sure to stay tuned. Remember, here in the Great Teachers Academy, we make complex lessons easy to understand. Goodbye and see you next time. Bye!